on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off. Breathe in through nose, out the mouth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we're going to do the round 2 review. We're going to go through all the dramas, all the action, all the spuds just coming down. Now, if you're off to a good start or a bad start, don't panic. Okay, it's too early because the comp is so close. I even put up a tweet. I went through the numbers. I dug in. Okay, and this is what I come up with. The top 20k teams and the 10k. If you're a 20k or 10k, there's only a 50-point difference. It's nothing. Okay, now if you're ranked top 10k to 1k, okay, there's only about 100 points, 120 points in it. It's practically nothing. If you're ranked between top 1K and maybe top 500, there's only 50 points difference, okay? The top 500 and the top 100 has only got a 50-point difference. And the top 101st place is only 100 points difference. No one at the moment has got a team together that's Mickey Mouse, okay? No one. Everyone is trying to find the Mickey Mouse team now. No one's got it, okay? We've only got Donald Duck teams right now. Just coming down, okay? Our teams are full of spuds, so no one's got a Mickey Mouse team yet. No one's built a Ferrari yet. No one's got the answers because there are holes in every team, okay? No team is perfect yet. So you have to now aim for round 5 to get that perfect team. You've got to look for holes that need plugging in. And this is our job now. So our job is to, first of all, get rookies on field that are going to make cash and score well. Okay, they're the ones you want on field. And our second job is to get the rookies that are not making any cash, they're not even playing, get them out of your team, okay? And with no job security, those rookies need to get out of your team. So that's what we're aiming for with our trades this week. Now, we're not going to talk about trades at the moment. We're going to talk about the review. So let's review round 2. Now, we're going to start with our score, 1880. Now, if you can recall the Saturday night press conference, we were struggling to get 1700. So how we got 1880, I have no idea. Okay, we actually got it from the rookies. They saved us this week. We got very lucky with some of these rookies. It doesn't help when you got a Stewart out on 7 points and you got Day not scoring. You got the Nank scoring 67. Now, I do realize that some of you have also got Gorn that scored 67. So we got let down big time. Some of us copped injuries more than others, okay? Some of us, our team, we had players on a bye this round, so some of us didn't have a full team. So, for example, what are we ranked? We've got 1880. It was a top 28% score, which is a shocker, but still, it's only round 2. Plenty of time to catch up. We're ranked 20,000, so literally we're about 150 points, 170 points outside of top top 1,000. So we're not far away. Okay, we need one big game, one big week away. Now let's have a look at our team. Now at the end of this video, towards the back end, I'm going to be talking about the leagues and their rankings and so forth. So that'll be towards the back end of the video, okay? First of all, we're going to go through all the highlights of this week's games. Now, I'm not going to go through every detail like I did last week because it was a 2-hour video and hardly anyone watched it, okay? Because I noticed it was only 20 minutes was the common theme of viewing time out of 2 hours. So I did all that talking for nothing. So I'm going to talk a bit less this time. I'm going to go just briefly over pretty much the important players that are Supercoach relevant and not go through every single player this week, okay? So we're going to cut it short. So our team, how did it go? Well, is it not good this week, okay? Everything is very bad, okay? Now, our defence was shattered. We had nobody in defence. Only one player, only the Sydney Swans players managed to score. Okay, we got Roberts at 115 and Bice, what a recruit, scored the 96, so we're very happy with Bice. So we got Trainer 24, didn't do nothing. We had Zach Reed at 36. We looped him. We said, no, we're going to take 36. Okay, so we took a 24 instead, but it still didn't count. It didn't matter. We had Short scoring a 71. He's a problem. short is. So his break even is now at 94. I don't think he's going to get 94 this week. We're going to go for all the kick-ins, and he didn't take him, so we're going to go through short and the problem we have with short. Cheezels, we have a problem. We don't know which position he's playing in right now. He's only got 50% CBAs, and he's not scoring, so something wrong with Cheezels, but hopefully he can get DPP. Stewart got injured. There are reports out that it's not serious, so he may even play this week. But on SEN, they said that he won't play, so it looks like he's not going to play this week, but he may play next week. Okay, so Stewart. We go to our midfield, and Dunkley and Ed Richards, both of them were on huge points at halftime. They both stopped in the second half, so I'm very, very disappointed with Richards, especially because he completely stopped. Well, so did Dunkley, and Dunkley missed an easy goal. Well, it was easy because I didn't kick it, but it was 45 metres out, pretty much not much angle, and he missed it. They would have gone to around about 126, but it doesn't matter. Rosie was our vice-captain. I was going to switch it to Dunkley, but I changed my mind. I said, I'm just going to take the 130. Okay, got to stick to the rules, so and luckily I did. So Rosie got us to 130. Problems. I'm going to sack him this week, Will Day, because he's got another 50 coming up, and then he's got a tag. Well, he's got a tag coming up this week against GWS, where he scored 53 last time they met, and then he's got the bye. I might just wait and get him for about 300k maybe, or 350k, so if I really want him, I can get him later on. And Oliver is the goods, okay? Oliver is the man. I'm very happy with Oliver. 130. It's a big score from a losing for a team that lost heavily on the weekend. He had a massive game, and I think he's back. The old Oliver, we got him back now, thank God. But the problem for Oliver is he has no support because Petrarca wasn't there. He was in the forward line. We'll talk about Petrarca soon. Now, Callahan, well, he didn't play, so we had one less primo this week. Nevitt scored a 58. I didn't understand it because it was an 80-odd in fantasy. The scores went down. We couldn't see what was happening. And for some reason, in Supercoach, they forgot to add his scores in because they didn't count. 58 is unbelievable. So we actually didn't get his score. It didn't count in our best 18. Camporeale, the same. His score didn't count. He got subbed out at 52. He might have gone to 70. It still wouldn't have mattered because the next best was 72 anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, or 71, so it wouldn't have counted. Hanley was a gamble I took. I might actually trade him out this week if Hasty plays, so Henley might go out. I may actually keep Payton because I'm going to explain in a video later on why I'm going to keep Payton, because my defense is shambles, and that's why we traded out last week Chera for this reason, because we're going to build this back line this week. We've got the cash. Okay, we're cashed up. Cash on 257k, plus we're selling Will Day. We've got cash to fix up the whole back line and bring the big guns in this week. So we're doing a complete restructure, okay? So Hasty got dropped. His replacement got concussion. So Hasty may come back next week, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. And if he comes back, he may even hold his spot. So we'll see how Hasty goes. He just needs to impress. He's playing Richmond, so surely he'll impress the selectors. And Henderson, well, he looked good. I liked Henderson, 99k. Now let's have a look at Henderson's scores. His break even is minus 71. He's He scored a 55 in round 1 and a 72 for a 99k player. This is sensational. Okay, so he's going to make us some cash. He's actually worked out much better for me than bringing in Ashcroft, because even though Ashcroft's a gun, Henderson's going to make more cash. So Henderson at 99k, absolute bargain. Now, we'll go to the Ruckman. Nank the Tank. Tanked. He actually tanked this week. Okay, scored a 67. I don't understand. His stats were shocking. No tackles. There was no contested possessions. Even when a fight broke out, he walked away from a fight. Okay, when does a Nank walk away from a fight? He saw his young Chargers getting bashed up. Okay, and he didn't do nothing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So with Nank the Tank, I was so disappointed this week. not one intercept mark, not one tackle. How does a ruckman not have a tackle when he's amongst the ball all the time? So it was disappointing. De Koning, when first half he was on fire, first quarter he was on 50, okay, and I thought to myself, why didn't I VC him? But then he stopped, scored 50 the rest of the game. There's something wrong with Ruckman scoring this year. I don't understand it. We saw Meek struggle. We saw English score a 50. We saw Gorn score a 67. Now Nank's got a 67. All the Ruckmen are going through patches. It's remarkable. This year seems to be the year where the Ruckmen aren't going to score for some reason, and it's unheard of. Besides Sherry, even though he scored 130, he smashed Gorn, only scored 130. He smashed English, only scored 130. Last year, these are like 170, 180 games. I don't understand what's going on with Ruckman. So the scoring's not there this year for these big boys. So we'll see how it pans out. Now, Boyd seems to be stuck on our bench. He's not going to play, I think. He's going to be one of these loops we're going to have for the whole year. But it was only 99k, so it was okay. The Horny Man, what can I say? Scored a 61. He let us down big time. I don't understand how he did this. The problem with the Horny Man was he played up forward, gave away 2,000 free kicks. He wanted to fight. He didn't. He thought it was a boxing match. He forgot he was out there to play football. So he had an absolute nightmare in a game where they won by 100 points. It doesn't make any sense. He played forward. If anything, the forward should score. Okay, but he didn't. So it's a worrying sign. Okay, we're going to keep him. We're not going to get rid of him because there's no one else to replace him with. But this is a shocking score, 61. Rankin, 97, got subbed out at three-quarter time. Okay, of course. Why would you keep him on the field when you can get... Actually, we're lucky that he scored 97 because it was 89. Once he started peeling the oranges, his score went up. So 97, I don't get it. I understand. They were resting him. I do get it, but I don't get it because he's played for As Magic. We needed him. Okay, so I don't get it. Okay, just calm it down. I'm being biased now. McRae is going to be a captain option every week. 162, absolute jet. Okay, so and he plays Richmond this week. So let's just put the straight up captain on him. Okay, captain straight away. Okay, well, we're going to vice him anyway. But I always like to vice captain my captains. Okay, that's what I'm going to play. That's how I used to play. I'm going to do that this year as well. When you vice captain your captains, we can't. We can because we got players on the bye, so it's okay. We can do that. I'm going to vice captain McRae in case everyone captains him and he fails. At least I vice captained him. Okay, so I'm going to vice captain the captain, and then if he does fail, who do we captain? Let's have a look. Well, it's going to be Dunkley as the captain. So Dunkley will be my captain this week. Although I wouldn't mind Callahan against Hawthorn, but maybe not. Okay, I think Dunkley against Geelong is a good option. Now, going further down, Caleb Daniel is back. Okay, now we last week we thought maybe he's not going to be a primo. I think he is now. Okay, so at 260k we got him for 269k. He's a lock now as a primo. So probably going to finish off. It looks like F2 at the moment, maybe F3 behind Rankin. So probably McRae, Rankin, and then Caleb Daniel coming third. Maybe Smith coming fourth. We'll talk about Smith in a minute. Now Stone, he didn't play. Davidson scored a 72. I was very happy with that because last week he absolutely butchered it. So this week 72 is a massive score for us. Very happy. Johnson didn't play, got suspended, but he's back this week. And Armstrong, okay, don't even ask me why I have Armstrong, but then again, I chose Armstrong over Kako, and at the moment, it's a 50-50 on who's winning, because Kako, he didn't do that well either, so I just went for the cheaper option, because there wasn't many options. Maybe I should have gone Hewitt, but I didn't have the extra 10k, so I ended up with Armstrong. And we brought in Lindsay, and he's a jet, okay, 20 possessions, 2 weeks back-to-back, and he's going to be a gun. So I think it was a bargain for Melbourne. Melbourne got an absolute bargain out of him, and scored a 78. Last week it was an 80-odd, so it's a huge average. And he's break-even. If you don't have him, it's minus 75. So absolute must-have is Lindsay. I think Lindsay and Nathan O'Driscoll, the two players you just have to have in your team. Now, we didn't have O'Driscoll, so we lost the 90 points, which then shows up on our screens here. We suffered, okay, 1880. We had no O'Driscoll. We had no Zorko the Magnificent. We didn't have him because we chose Sheasels instead this year, so bad decision. That Sheasels decision has already cost me, I don't want to think about it. I think it's close to 80 to 100 points. Just one decision I made. So we're going to correct that this week and bring in Zorko the Magnificent. Now we're going to go through these games a little bit quicker than last week. So let's go through them. Only the Supercoach relevant players. And we'll look at the Conning. If you look at his breakdown quarter by quarter, he started on a house on fire, 39, and then he consistently played or scored in the 20s. So maybe Supercoach-wise, probably similar because his fantasy points 107, Supercoach points 104, so very similar scoring patterns there. Probably in Supercoach actually he scored a bigger first quarter, so even lower second and third quarters. We look at Adam Chera. He had a huge first half, okay, and he was making me watch it with disappointment. But then the reality set in the third quarter where he played in defense. Now, this is the problem with Chera. This is what I noticed with Chera last year, okay? Chera, if he played as a pure mid, absolute must-have. But if he plays in defense and mid, it sort of makes me very worried. So Chera still managed to score a 113, which is a brilliant score. So for his price, absolute gun. Now, Walsh, probably not Supercoach relevant. Cripps scored the 108. We go further down, the Doc 73. Now, apparently he's training with the defenders now, so we'll see how he goes in defence. So maybe this opens up room for Chera to play more mid-time and the Doc down in defence. We'll see how that goes. They're changing things around at Carlton non-stop right now, so we're going to go further down. And Campariali scored the 5 points, 16, 9, so it didn't do much, okay? So we were actually lucky to get his 52 Supercoach points. He got taken out later on, and that's pretty much it. Lord is not Supercoach relevant, and Curnow scored the 20 points. We could probably pick him up cheaper, but who wants Curnow? I remember what I had Curnow last year, absolute nightmare. So that's Carlton anyway. We go to the Hawks. Newcomb, absolute jet, scored the 149 Supercoach points. You can see very consistent whole duration, 38, 37, 34, 33 fantasy points. This is consistency, very consistent. We go further down. The Sick Dog in patches again with the Sick Dog. He scored 99 Supercoach points, but you can see missing in the third quarter. That's the problem with the Sick Dog. He gets a role change. It goes missing. So had played a bit of forward time this week. We go further down. Okay, and who else is here? Supercoach Rel Meek scored the 90. The Ruckman just struggling. I don't understand what's happening with the Ruckman. He didn't do well. 90 points, 14, 10. They're just not scoring. We go further down. Who else is there? The Supercoach relevant besides Day. Okay, well, let's talk about Day. Had a good second quarter. He got tagged again, scored the 76. I think there was a mistake getting him, so I'm going to admit the mistake. I shouldn't have started him. But then again, at 490k, I didn't have many options, so I started him, okay? I think maybe I should have started. I don't know what I should have done, but maybe I should have started Smith instead of Day. But then again, Smith missed last week, so I don't know which one was the right thing to do. Anyway, so Day, we're going to trade him out this week. Now we go to the Western Bulldogs and Collingwood. And Libba is back. I think Libba was the one we needed to get, not Ed Richards. Libba in and under, he's everywhere. Okay, so Libba with the 142 Supercoach points, absolute bull. Okay, and even though he's 55 years old, okay, he's still doing it. So maybe they should bring his dad back to the club as well, because two Libbas on field, they might go really well. Libba was a jet. Tim English back to scoring, but you can see his fantasy points. Okay, let's go quarter by quarter. They are consistent, but it's off to a slow start. Okay, he had a huge last quarter. He's also not scoring. Okay, besides that last quarter, which saved him, his Another ruckman that's not scoring. Okay, something, as I said, wrong with the ruckman this year. Sam Darcy, forwards are gonna be inconsistent. You can see here 33, 34, then a 9, then a 24. So good score of 117, but they're going to be a little bit inconsistent. But he does look the goods. Dale, the same thing, a 19 and a 7 first 2 quarters. That's a shocker for a defender. 19 and 7, and then follows it up with a 33 and a 37. So which version of Dale do we get? Now he ended up with a 141. It's only a 96 fantasy points, but because of these, especially the last quarter, it gave him massive extra bonus points. So that's why he got the 141 Supercoach points. It could be a trap, okay, and I'm probably going to fall for it like last year. So Dale scored the 141. Now we go to Ed Richards. He was consistent, but he went very quiet in the third quarter. Okay, he came back in the last. So a bit of a down game, I think, from Ed Richards, but still scored a 105. So I'm happy with the 105. He missed 2 goals. If he kicks those 2 goals, that's a 130. So it's not as bad as it seems. Now, Frazier, I don't know how he did it, okay? He scored the 100 points. You can see here, in fantasy, it's just a 25 in the last quarter. Okay, it's only 75 fantasy points. But that goal that he scored gave him 30 Supercoach points. So from 70, he went to 100, okay? So it's scaled up big time for Frazier. So Frazier owners got kissed, okay? They got really big time kissed. Just coming down, okay? They got very happy. So he was on 50 points at 3/4 time in Supercoach. Okay, put it this way, they got a 50-point last quarter. Well, only 25 in fantasy, but 50 in Supercoach. Kennedy is up and down. Sanders, something's wrong. Is not happening. We'll go further down. You shouldn't have Sanders anymore in your team now. Further down, and I think Davidson is the jet that we like. Okay, for a rookie, 72 points. Is there anyone else a Supercoach relevant? Not sure about Dolan. Scored a 17. And that's pretty much it for the Dogs. Now we move over to Collingwood and Nick Dacos. Well, you can see in fantasy, he actually did really well. 136 fantasy points. It's very rare to see fantasy points exceed Supercoach points. So this is a rarity, okay? So I don't know how this happened. But Dacos, 31, 22. Let's see his break even. Well, his break even is achievable. It's only 115. So it's not too bad because he lost 29k this week. So now Dacos is 602k. That's a good price for a Dacos. So if you've got your heart set on picking up a Dacos, it could be a good time. Problem is, no one's got time to pick up Dacos now because they've got other things to worry about. So with Collingwood, plus he's got the buy anyway, so you could probably pick him up the following week. Maybe I might even do that, okay? So I might think about doing a sideways trade and picking up Dacos at 602k. With Dacos, what are you getting? Let's have a look. You got Carlton in round 4, possible tag. I mean, they tagged. Hewitt is their tagger. You got a possible tag in round 5. Maybe isn't not good for Dacos. Maybe we're going to pick up Dacos. Then you got a tag in round 7. Okay, you got round 6, maybe no tag here. Okay, and Brisbane sometimes they tag. It depends their mood. Okay, so maybe no tag. Maybe there's a tag. Round 7, another tag. Geelong. I don't think they tag, but we just saw Freo tag. Okay, even Freo's tagging now. What's going on? Every team wants a tag. So by the time we get to round 9, round 10, round 11, Dacos would have had a tag from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams would have tagged him 1, 2, 3 in the next 6 weeks. That's insane, okay? 5 tags in 6 weeks from Dacos coming up. That's if Geelong tag, but we think Freo's going to tag now. Now we go back to the game. Darcy Cameron this week had a good game, 112 Supercoach points. If you take note of Darcy Cameron, we talk about Ruckman not scoring. Okay, now Darcy Cameron had an easy opponent. Darcy Cameron is very up and down this year. I mean, you see here, a 112, then a 74, then a... Where's he scoring? Is this correct? Okay, this can't be correct. And this is It is correct. Okay, so round zero, he scored a 164. Then he backed it up with a 74 against Port Adelaide. Now take note, against Port Adelaide, even our boy Danank failed, scored a 67. So it could be something to do with Port Adelaide Ruckman being very hard to score against. Okay, now that's a good thing to think about. And then against the Dogs, scored a 112. So that's interesting. Now, other players of note, we got Long here. Now, some people may have brought him in, and he scored a 57, but he was supposed to be a sub. He was a sub, but he still played the whole game. He actually didn't do much this time, so maybe a good thing a lot of us didn't bring him in. But actually, I brought him in fantasy, and he scored a 72 fantasy points. So it actually worked out well because I don't do my fantasy team. I just do it on Monday, don't check it, and then all of a sudden I got Long in the team. I just noticed him there, so it's not too bad. Okay, Long, but he's not Supercoach relevant. The player that did concern me a lot is Dan Houston. You can see here the fantasy points 5, 22, 15, 18 with a score of 81. I don't even know if Dan Houston's going to be a top 6 anymore. Last week I was raving about him. This week I changed my mind. Just calm down. Okay, I have big concerns on Dan Houston now. Can watch him another game, another week. See how he goes. He's got the bye this week anyway. And going further down, the Perryman is a no good. Okay, the Perryman scored. Let's have a look at Perryman's maps. What's he doing? Where is Perryman playing? Let's have a look now. Supercoach. What's happened to the Perryman? I thought he's going to be a keeper. It was way off. Okay, 57 Supercoach points, and his position is not good. Is poo-poo. Okay, so he's worse than a rookie. So they have to get rid of him. Overpriced Spud is all he is right now. The Spudman is his nickname. Okay, it's Harry Spudman. So I would get rid of Spudman. He doesn't have these midfield minutes we're expecting. Looks like he's going to play a bit on the wing. Even Camporeale scores more than him right now. Moving over to Essendon and Adelaide. And at Essendon, we've got Zach Merritt. Scored the 145 Supercoach points, but 4 goals. Where does Zach Merritt play? Okay, I just want to know. Let's have a look at his stats because he may even get DPP. So if he gets DPP, we're gonna have a lot of guns in the forward line. We're gonna have less in the midfield. So let's have a look at his heat maps. Well, he was everywhere. Okay, but I want to see how many CBAs he had. We'll check this out now. He only had 60% CBAs. This is a player that should be getting 80% CBA. So where did the other 40% go of his time? I'm assuming in the forward line. Okay, so he can also get forward DPP. This will be really, really massive bonus. The problem is we're going to find all this cash to bring. We're going to have more guns in the forward line than we have in the midfield. So it's going to be very interesting with Zach Merritt. We go back to our live scoring now. And Caldwell is one I really like, and he's cheap, okay? But the problem is he's got the buy round coming up, and you can't get him, and he's also a pod, so there's no point right now. So we'll just keep an eye on him. But he's got all these midfield minutes, scoring 118 Supercoach points. Tassatsis, he's injured this week, got a broken finger, okay? Now, I worry when they say broken finger these days because we saw what... a broken finger did at Geelong. He's out for weeks right now. We won't even talk about him. But Tassatsis is a genuine broken finger. Okay, so he looked average, then he looked really good. Okay, scored the 78 Supercoach points. If he knew how to kick, the kid would be a Jets. Okay, unfortunately, because he knows how to get the ball, just doesn't know what to do with it. That's a problem. So Tassatsis, if he can kick the ball, it will be a jet, but he's going to miss this week, and he's going to miss the bye round. So you're going to have 2 weeks with Tatsatsis away, and then you've got 2 players to come back into the team. You got Setterfield going to come back, and then you got Parrish to come back. So what does that do for players like Tatsatsis and also Hobbs? Okay, so who goes out of this midfield now? So we're going to find out all the answers soon. Now, going further down at Essendon. Okay, now was there anybody else? of interest here. And to be honest, well, they got Edwards, who scored the 48 but kicked 3 goals. So he's not going to kick 3 goals every week. But he's cheap, so he's not bad. Okay, now Zach Reed, 36 Supercoach points. We've got Pryor here, 57 Supercoach points. And we've also got who's coming? Ridley's going to come back soon. So I'm not sure about Pryor's job security with Ridley coming back. We've got Kako kicking 2 goals and scoring 34 Supercoach points. Okay, now we've got a lot of slow burns in our forward line, unfortunately. And that's pretty much it with the Bombers. Now, over to Adelaide. Dawson is a Jet, all right, scored a 124. Don't worry about Keys. Crouch, not highly owned. Unbelievable score of 143. Saligo kicked 2 goals, 108. He may even get DPP, so it's going to be interesting how Saligo goes with DPP, because he could be a Jet as a forward midfielder. We go further down. Who else is here? Well, we got Milera, scored the 86, but last week he didn't score much, so I would be a bit worried about Milera. I don't want to get any more mid-prices in the team. We got Rankin, scored 97 Supercoach points. Only played 3 quarters, but he's a Jet. Okay, Draper scored a 20 last week. He only played 1 quarter for 2 games in a row. We're hoping for another 2 more 1/4 games, and then we're going to bring him in cheaper. So Draper's going to be a downgrade option. Hopefully around about 150k. You got to snap him up, okay? But the problem is job security. Whose role does he take? How does he get into this team? Because Adelaide's actually quite good now. So who does he replace? So maybe he's going to be the sub all year, just to build up his tank. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. Now we go to Port Adelaide and Richmond. Connor Rosie, Jet, 130. Okay, now there isn't many players at Port Adelaide to talk about. Josh Sin, 82. I think is a trap. Pal Pepper had a field day against Richmond. 3 goals, 2 behinds. They didn't have the forwards. They're missing a couple of forwards, okay, because Lukosius got injured. So the Horny man went up forward. Had 17 disposals with a 61 score, 1 goal, 1. It was a shock. These free kicks against, 5 of them. He was a big bully on the day. Okay, he wanted to be the boss. He liked to bully the little kids. Okay, he's a schoolyard bully. That's what he is. So, Sweet scored 100 Supercoach points. Okay, and he made sure that Nank didn't score many. And we just saw what he did to Darcy Cameron the week before. What did Sweet do the week before last week? Okay, let's have a look at that, because how is Sweet dominating all the ruckman? What's he doing? He's a big boy, okay? Sweet's a very strong big boy, and the previous week against Collingwood, he only scored 90, but again, he outscored Darcy Cameron. And we've got Joe Berry here scoring a 56, and this was against Richmond. So Marias, it was one to watch, scored 52 as well. He actually looked decent, Marias did. So possible upgrade target in the future for us. Now, we go and have a look at Richmond, and there's not much to talk about at Richmond, okay? It's nothing, okay? Short, 1 kicking. Didn't take the kick-ins. I'm going to show you in a minute. Actually, I'm going to show you now. Before I show you the kick-ins, look at the CBAs. Laylaw, 47%. That's massive. Okay, so Laylaw's had an increase from 8% to 47%, but he still couldn't score. So he's not ready yet, Laylaw. A young boy, he needs a support. Nank wasn't the man supporting him. So McIntosh got out of that midfield, didn't tag. So when McIntosh tags, then I think Laylaw goes out. So it depends on that. But Laylaw, he didn't score this week. Short just had 1 kick-in. We saw Ben Miller have 8, okay, and Nick Vloston 3 of them. I don't understand. How do you give Short just 1 kick in? We got him because he can take kick-ins. If he had, let's say, 6 kick-ins, that's 24 points. 24 points onto his score. He's in the 90s. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Is very bad news. Now, Armstrong in fantasy had a really good game, 62, but in Supercoach only 49. Had a huge last quarter. We talked about Laylaw. Well, then again, look at Laylaw. He had 62 fantasy points. It's actually quite high, but only 39 Supercoach points because he was ineffective. 10 disposals. Blight looked decent, but he's not scoring enough. Blight played ruck as well. Nank didn't score. It was just a train wreck, okay? And a trainer needs to train a bit harder for trainer, okay? He's training the house down. It's a bit harder for trainer with his disposals. I think he panics a lot. So he's obviously a young kid. So these young kids are going to panic a little bit. And Fawcett scored the 30 Supercoach points, so he didn't do much. Smith, when he came on, scored 19. That's not too bad for Smith. So maybe if Smith plays another game, maybe he could be the one that's going to be our rookie saviour. So I don't know in defence because Smith didn't play many quarters from memory. How long? He was a sub. How many quarters did he play? Let's have a look. Fantasy quarters. Smith. Actually, he did. He played the whole game. Okay, he played nearly more than half the game. So he didn't do much. Okay, so forget about Smiths. Now, we talk about St Kilda and Geelong, and McRae, captain material every week now. Marshall is back. Let's hope he gets DPP from the first round so that we can put him in the forward line. Maybe we're gonna miss out, but I just hope he had enough forward time in round one to get that DPP. Sinclair, the 145, 2 goals. Probably a 120 game without the 2 goals, maybe the 115 game. So it was a decent game. Steele, very low score for him, considering how much they won by, and considering McRae's score. You got Wangan Milera scored the 113. He's got the kick-ins nailed, does Milera. Let's have a look at the kick-ins at St Kilda, and you're going to see that it's Milera's taking most of them, 7 out of 7, and Sinclair's at 4 out of 4. So Milera's got that nailed up. Okay, now if we go further down, we're going to go to Max Hall. He didn't do it this week, 33. They're going to be inconsistent, these forwards. Now, Stocker, we see he got injured. We had concussion. The young man, hopefully he recovers well and is back on his feet and running again. But he's the player that replaced Hasty. Them two were fighting for that spot. Now that Stocker has got the concussion, we may see Hasty come back this week. So we're gonna find out if it's going to be Hasty or not. Now, if Hasty doesn't come back this week, then we have a problem with Hasty, so we're going to have to trade him out. But hold your horses if you haven't traded Hasty out yet, in case he plays this week. But I would say he's on his last chance to play early rounds if he's going to miss out, because Stocker will then come back. Now, and also O'Connell scored the 42 Supercoach points, so he didn't do it either this week for us. Now, we go over to Geelong. Okay, now, at the Supercoach points-wise, there's nothing. No one cracked 100 in this game. It's a worry. If you go through the top scorers, Atkins with the 96, Holmes kicked a goal and still only scored 91. He copped a tag. I'm not sure if he's going to cop this tag now on a regular basis. We're going to look at Geelong's draw in a minute and see if he's taggable, because they do have Smith also, who's also taggable, and St Kilda did say, or Ross Lyon did say, that they were going to tag Smith, so maybe he escapes the tags. However, if it's not, it's going to be Holmes that cops a tag. Actually, they got double tagged, okay, so Holmes got one tag, and then we had Stewart who copped the other tag, but the tag didn't even matter because he got injured, so apparently the news at Geelong is that he's probably going to miss this week, but he may even play next week. The problem for Stewart also is his price is going to drop to $450K. $450K early in the year is a good price. So if you trade him out and bring him back, you're saving about 70 to 80K. So it could be a good thing, okay? But is it worth a trade out? Well, possibly it is, because what if he's back in 3 weeks? We don't know. They said, you don't trust what they say anymore, these coaches. So, I don't know, because they said that Smith will be back this week. What if he's not back this week? Okay, so people have held him. What if he doesn't play this week? Because it still says fitness test. So there's still a cloud over Smith and Stewart, so I'm not sure. So I'm just going to, if I'm not sure, I'm going to trade him out. Okay, so Stewart's going to go out, because then they're going to say something else happened. He got injured further on, not recovering as expected. You don't know what they're going to say. And considering that we can pick him up cheaper, and there are players that are, well, not on the bubble, but they're going to go up and value some of these defenders. So I'd rather pick up a player that's going to go up than keep a player that's going to rock bottom down. So even though I'm only going to gain, let's say, a 70k later on from Stewart, I'm really gaining more because the players like Dale has a break even of 20 to 25 or 28. I don't know exactly what it is, but Dale's going to go up in price. Stewart's going to go down in price. So the actual Stewart to Dale trade, it's probably worth about 120k, maybe even more. Okay, so that's why I'll just do the trade and trade out Stewart to Dale. Depends if I really want Dale though, so that's another thing to consider because I had Dale last year. He gave me nothing but nightmares. So I'm going to go over this tomorrow's video. Now, O'Sullivan scored to 88 in round 1. He scored 48. Where did he get most of his points? Let's have a look. Fantasy points. Look at O'Sullivan. He didn't do a lot, okay? 21-18 is decent, but you got to consider that Stewart was missing. Now, if Stewart comes back, what happens to O'Sullivan? And then he didn't do much in the third quarter, then had a huge last quarter, got all these points in the last quarter. Not sure, because also Colo Jazzy is going to come back. So you got Colo and Stewart to come back. And then you got another problem. Their ruckman may come back, Stanley. Now, if Stanley comes back, where does SDK play? Now, there's 3 defenders possibly going to come back to a defensive role. How secure is O'Sullivan going to be? So, I don't want to risk it this time of the year. It's 150k. It's not cheap. If it was like, even if it was 120k, I still wouldn't consider it. So I'm going to pass on O'Sullivan. Even though he'll play this week, he'll score well. He might make a bit of cash for you, but I need that player to stay there for a bit longer than just 1 or 2 weeks. I don't want a Payton scenario. So unfortunately for O'Sullivan, I can't bring him in this week. And speaking of SDK, he didn't do much. Okay, scored the 74 Supercoach points. He slept on the bench in the last quarter, peeling bananas and oranges. He even tried to peel some apples. I noticed. Okay, so the apples were getting peeled as well because he was so bored. He ran out of the oranges. There was no bananas left. He started on the apples, and I don't know about the conning. And he's got tough matchups coming up, although I'm not sure how tough Gorn is anymore as a matchup, because the Conning did look decent, just didn't have the disposals, had 16 disposals. He needs 25 to crack 100, so he didn't get the 25. The Ruckman need 25 disposals this year. If you've got a Ruckman that's not getting touches, they're not going to score well. That's the problem I noticed. Even look at the who's the Ruckman at St Kilda, Marshall, 29 disposals. That's where he got his points, 121 points, had the 29 touches. They need disposals, okay? It's all based now not on hitouts. I don't even know if they're scoring from points from hitouts anymore. Every time I see hitout to advantage, there's no points being scored. So I think it's all coming down to disposals now. So Marshall could be the best ruckman to get, I think. The good thing with Marshall is he had a poor first round, so his points, well, his price anyway, won't go nuts after this week. So possibly the following week, I might even consider Nank down to Marshall, but I'll think about that one. Now, going further down, actually Nank plays Marshall this week, so it's going to be a good watch. Okay, now, going further down at Geelong, is there anyone else to talk about? Well, there's Nevitz. Now, take a look at Nevitz scoring. He had 2 massive quarters in fantasy, but they didn't correlate to Supercoach. Now, the word correlate you don't hear often at this at the Scodfather's channel, but we're using a big word today. Okay, look up the dictionary. Okay, so we're going to use correlate. Just come down. Okay, so scored the 58. I don't know. I was hoping more, but he's a Jet. So his job security is solid. So we're happy to field him on field, but we just don't want these 58s. We prefer these 80s more from him. And that's pretty much it. And we talked about Tom Stewart already. Now we go to the Brisbane Lions versus the West Coast Eagles. Okay, now Zorko the Magnificent was on display again. Okay, and if you go quarter by quarter, in the first quarter, he didn't touch it. Okay, he only had 12 fantasy points. he did all the damage in the second quarter at 59 fantasy points. He went nuts. He always has one quarter where he goes nuts, sometimes 2 quarters. So a lazy 136, and that's with a really bad first quarter. Give him a good first quarter, and that's around about a 150. So the grandpa, he's having a field day. He's like Libba, the 2 grandpas. They're going nuts. Okay, unfortunately, the grandpa that we chose, which is Stewart, is not doing it. Now, Lockie Neal, a huge first quarter, then he slowed down a little bit, but still scored the 133 Supercoach points. He's another Jet, okay, and that there was no tag this week, but the tags are coming. Let's have a look at Lockie Neal's draw. Actually, Lockie Neal's break even is 189. He faces Geelong this week. Now, we're going to find out more about Geelong this week, if they're going to be tagging, if they're serious about these tags. So this week will be an answer with the tags, because the following week he has Richmond, who didn't really tag last week. So I thought they would tag. They didn't tag. So maybe he's got two games where he's got actually 3 games, so he may escape tags. He actually might do okay, Lockie O'Neill. So this week could be the cheapest we see him. But then again, he has Collingwood, who have Perryman. Okay, now we're not sure if Perryman's going to tag him, because Perryman didn't tag this week. It's up and down when they're going to tag. Then he has St Kilda, and we know there's going to a tag coming that week. But by the time we get to the St Kilda game, Lockie Neal may have already done all the damage. Then we have Gold Coast, who don't tag. North, who used to tag last year, is not tagging this year. We have Melbourne that don't tag. Hawthorn will tag. Essendon will tag. But by the time you get to round 12, you're going to miss out on him. So he may be a player that we need to bring in as soon as possible, but you're going to have to pay top dollar. So let's see how he goes this week. We need a big tag from Geelong. So it goes in a 3-week scoring cycle, a low score. This low score of 41 will drop out next week, so which means that his price will be steadily going up again. So we need a massive low score from this Geelong game. Now, Dunkley had a massive first quarter, decent second and fourth quarter, similar to Lockie Neal in the second and fourth. But the damage, Lockie Neal did, was in the third quarter. Dunkley also missed 2 goals, so he had a decent game, 117, another Jet. Will Ashcroft had a massive last quarter. His score was looking terrible. Okay, until the last quarter, he went nuts. Finished on a 104. We go further. I noticed when players have a big last quarter, that's when their scores go huge. Okay, or a first quarter. The first quarter and the last quarter, for some reason, are the most 2 important quarters in Supercoach. The second and third quarters, they don't really do much, even when they have big ones. Well, besides Zorko, okay, that's a different story. Maybe I'm wrong, okay, because Zorko had a big second quarter and he did a lot. So sometimes a big quarter, and the scores go nuts. Now, going further down, is there anyone else? Well, there's Levi Ashcroft, and he looked like a weird role. Let's have a look at Ashcroft's heat map, okay? I mean, he is a cash cow. He's a Jets. We know that, but he doesn't get the CBAs that we expect. Actually, he gets none. No CBAs at all. Have a look here. 0 and 0 CBAs. 84 last week, 72 this week. And he's playing everywhere, all over the field. He gets a lot of cheap kicks, okay? So, I mean, he's a young kid, you know. It's cheap kicks, but they're accurate, so it's a good thing. But the problem is he doesn't get a lot of kicks right now. He's not getting a lot of the disposals. You can see here, 11 kicks and 6 handballs, okay? The previous week he had a lot, 25 disposals. This week, 17. He needs to get at 25 to score in the 80s, okay? So we need him to get to 25 disposals. Now, was there anyone else of notice here? And I don't think there was many other players of interest. Now, let's move over, okay, and let's talk about West Coast, because their ruckman didn't play, okay? Now, take note, with the ruckman missing out, we had, where is he? Okay, I'm trying to find him. Williams was the ruck. He didn't score much either, okay? 21, 4, 11, but he did enough to warrant another game next week. He got subbed out in the last quarter. The poor boy had cramp, okay, so he'll come back next week, and it was a hot conditions. So he's holding that spot, and Flynn is missing out because of this, because Reed did enough, scored 55 Supercoach points. Where is it? 59 Supercoach points. Maybe it was, actually, that's Harley Reid. Wrong Reid, okay? This is this Reid here, okay? Now, he didn't do enough. He only scored 9, so I apologize. It was wrong Reid, okay? This Reid scored 9 points. He did not. Well, it's just surprising because he scored 35 fantasy, but didn't correlate to Supercoach. I've used that word again, okay? Correlate's my new word. Now, the Governor, it was a decent game, nothing spectacular, okay? The kick-ins, he didn't have all of them. Okay, he shared the kick-ins. If we go to the West Coast and the kick-ins, and you'll notice it went 50-50 with Maric. Okay, Maric had half of them, and the Governor the other half. That's not a good sign for the Governor. Okay, the Governor needs all of them. Okay, he didn't get all of them, so it's not a good thing. So the Governor's scoring 97. I don't think he's going to be a top 6 this year if he doesn't get all those kick-ins. So the kick-ins was vital last year. New coach, and Matic is loving life right now. 72, but it's not enough for his price. So you can forget about Maric. Baker, 75 Supercoach points. That's what I mean about Baker. He's going to be very up and down. Last week it's 100. This week it's a 70. Okay, so Baker is very inconsistent. And there's nobody else here. There's Hewitt. He looked decent in the first half, had a massive second quarter, 31 fantasy points, but then dropped out. Started slow, finished slow, had a good middle run here. 58, not enough. But the player that was very interesting was Dewar. Okay, had a huge first quarter, a decent second and third quarters, and a -3 in the last quarter with 84 Supercoach points. But you got to consider he did kick a few goals, but he was a ball magnet on that wing. But last week he didn't score, so it sort of worries me. Okay, how's his scoring going to be? We now go to North Melbourne and Melbourne. Okay, now Caleb Daniel, he's back. Okay, and he was going nuts. Actually, had his worst quarter was the last quarter. He scored the 17 fantasy, but 116 Supercoach points, and he's a Jet. Sheasels, he worries me. Had a good second and last quarter. Had a very terrible, really bad third quarter, and not much in the first quarter. But the good thing is his fantasy points were 102, which means that his disposal efficiency wasn't the best. So he still had 28 touches, which is a good sign. So don't panic as a Sheasel owner, but he is going to lose cash. So if you don't have him, you are going to get him cheaper. Maybe a 550k range, maybe even cheaper than 550k. If you do own him, like I do, we're just going to have to cop the cash loss, and people will pick him up cheaper. Doesn't matter, okay? That's what's going to happen. Well, it does matter, but it doesn't. Now, Sherry, now this is the interesting one, okay? You can see here, his fantasy points. He had 20 disposals, which is good for a ruckman. Fantasy points was 90, but Supercoach was 136. Even though he dominated, the disposals weren't high, okay? So I think with Ruckman, they need to get a lot of disposals, and he didn't have it. So even though he scored a 136, he smashed Gawn. Look at Gawn only had 11 disposals, which is why his scoring was so bad. Getting 20 touches a game is not easy, but he had all these tackles, and he did the usual Sherry stuff. So it looks like he's going to finish at R1 this year, Sherry. But his price may still drop, okay? So we're not going to have 700k Ruckman this year, I think, because 136 for a smashing of a Ruckman is not a high score. I thought he'd get it would look like a 170 game from last year, but it wasn't. LDU scored the 108. He's doing okay, but he's only 23 touches. Going quiet in the third and fourth quarters, so even a slow start, just one big quarter there. If you go further down, Parker's not doing it. Simpkin is having a big 2 quarters and 2 quiet quarters. That's a Simpkin typical game of him. Scored a 102. If you go further down, McKercher, I don't think he's the real deal this year. 56 Supercoach points. We go further down. Constantine this week, 36. Last week, a big score, so it didn't work out for him this week. Again, our forward line is struggling with rookies. And Finn O'Sullivan, disappointing, 42. Actually, his score last week was similar. Okay, could have been a little bit better, I'm not sure, but he didn't do much from defence. And that's pretty much it at North Melbourne. Now we'll go to Melbourne and we'll look at Chandler. Massive game, 151. If this 151 was his third game, I would actually consider getting him in as a cash cow, but it's his second game. With a second game, last week he didn't score much, kicked a few goals, had a lot of mid-time this week. Have a look at his CBAs. They were through the roof, okay? Where are they? Melbourne CBAs. Well, actually, 23%. So it's not through the roof, but the previous week he had none. Okay, last week he scored 71. This week 151. Kicked the 2 goals there as well. So I'm not sold on Chandler. If he's the one you're thinking about, maybe good for good for drafts. Okay, but I'm not sure for the classic. I'd actually say it's a pass. Oliver is back, 36 touches, absolute jets, and it's good to see him back. But Petrarca, on the other hand, had a lot of time in the forward line. Could get DPP now. The owners will be bleeding. Okay, 78. That's very low. Lindsay is a jet, 20 touches last week. Very consistent scoring as well. Probably dropped off a bit in the second quarter, but besides that, very consistent scoring. Sparrow, don't worry about Sparrow. Henderson, okay, now Henderson, 72 Supercoach points, tackling machine. I think job security is solid for him, so he looked the goods. Gorn, we already spoke about. Unfortunately for the young man, okay, the grandpa had 11 disposals. It's not enough. He needs to get that to 20 minimum before he can start scoring some points. So it didn't work out for Gorn this week, and he will get 20, okay? So if you've got Gorn and you're panicking, don't panic. Up against a good ruckman in Sherry, and 11 touches. No one in Melbourne had touches except for Oliver. He was the only one getting all the touches. So he'll bounce back, Gorn will. I think he'll finish as a top 3 ruckman. Just finding out the second ruckman, it actually might be Marshall this year. I have a feeling Marshall's the one. So we'll see how Gorn goes. Now, going further down, and there's not much more. Okay, that's pretty much it at Melbourne. Now, we go to Freo versus Sydney Swans, and we look at Freo, and we look at Luke Jackson. Only scored 97 Supercoach points. It's not making any sense, okay? What's going on? And he even kicked the goal, okay? He had 20 disposals, 5 tackles, 28 hitouts, a goal, and only 97 Supercoach points. There's something going on with these ruckmen, okay? So Luke Jackson didn't score. We go further down, and we notice that Luke Ryan isn't scoring. Scored 95 Supercoach points. The kick-ins are gone, okay? He shared them with Clark. They had 5 or 6 each, and that was it. So he didn't get all the kick-ins. Speaking of Clark, it's a good game, a 122 with 6 kick-ins. Last week he had no kick-ins, so I don't understand what's going on at Freo. Is he getting the kick-ins or is he not getting the kick-ins? Now, I'm very confusion right now, but if he's getting the kick-ins, then Clark at 122 Supercoach points, this could be his average, okay? Because that's a bonus 24 points. That's huge. We go to Sarong, who was on 50 at 3/4 time, okay, and before you knew it, he went to 99. Now, if we go fantasy by quarter, fantasy stats, in fantasy, he only had a 31-point last quarter, but in Supercoach, it was a 50-point last quarter, so he went massive. Now, Nathan O'Driscoll, he had 0 CBAs, nothing, okay, yet he still managed to score a 95. I think now, even though I avoided him at the start, I mean, you can say I got this one wrong, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it wrong, but I did. Okay. However, there was a few that I got right. So it's very hard to work out who these rookies are, the good ones. Anyway, at 200k, but I would definitely say I missed on O'Driscoll, but I haven't missed him because I'm going to get him in this week. Okay, so he comes in this week. I just wanted to have a good look at all the 200k rookies and see which ones were the best ones. And I think Nathan O'Driscoll is ticking all those boxes right now. So he comes into the team. Brayshaw scored the 106. Brayshaw and Sarong haven't been scoring that well at the moment, so maybe they're going to pick up their scoring soon. We're expecting big scores from them, so we'll see how they go. Going further down, Erasmus, a rookie, had 41 Supercoach points. Now, I'm going to go to CBAs. Actually, before I do CBAs, let's have a look at the kick-ins, okay? And we'll go to Freo. Let's confirm it at Freo. Who had all these kick-ins? Let's find them, okay? Now, Luke Ryan. Actually, that was last year. This year. Actually, let's go to last year. All right, let's go to last year. All right, kick-ins. You can notice Luke Ryan owned them. Okay, very rarely did we see Clark have a lot of kick-ins, but there was weeks where he did. He had 7 in this game. He very rarely gets more than 3. Okay, actually, he didn't get more than 3 except for that one game. Okay, so getting 6 is massive. Now, I don't know if this is going to be or 5. I'm not sure if there's going to be a new theme now, okay, because last week he had none, so I can't work it out. Now, with CBAs, we have a look. We see that Sarong is the main man, and he was tagged. Brayshaw, 59%. O'Meara, 77%. O'Meara was an interesting, because he was a tagger this week, okay, so he took a lot of the CBAs, but O'Driscoll, 0. And Bolton 41. Now, I did mention last week that with Bolton coming back into the team, how's it going to affect O'Driscoll's CBAs? Well, it looks like he doesn't even need the CBAs to score well, so that's a good thing. And he was playing as an extra midfielder after the CBA, so he comes from the wings and goes onto the midfield and plays as a spare midfielder at stages, so he looks decent. Now, Erasmus, job security, going back to Erasmus, I don't think it's going to be that strong. But take a look at this boy here, Reed. 75 Supercoach points. Have we missed him? Okay, what happened with Reed? 14 disposals. I didn't notice him getting 75 Supercoach points. So that's impressive. Okay, so last week he didn't get that many, and he kicked 4 goals. This week, I'm not sure how many goals he's kicked, but 75 is massive. Fantasy-wise, he only got 50, so it doesn't look like he's going to be a big scorer. It must be one of those big goals that count at the end, because it was a close game. So he probably got a huge scaling. Now, Bolton, 57 Supercoach points. We can get him cheaper, so don't rush on Bolton. And I can't see him being a top 6 anyway, so probably don't even need him, because there's going to be so many players with DPP this year that we can grab later on. And going further down, that's pretty much it. Now we go to Sydney, and Warner scored the 122 Supercoach points. But if we look at his CBAs, if we go to Sydney now, all right, we go to Sydney and look at Warner. CBAs, it's still high, it's still 68%. Okay, so it's high enough. He's at 54 and 45. He's possibly going to grab DPP as well. Now, I'm not sure if he's starting on the wings here. If he starts half forward, he's a big chance for DPP, but if he starts on the wings, probably not a chance. Now, going back to our live scoring, and Roberts, 115 Supercoach points was massive for us, and if he can score like this, he won't be a top 6, but he will be a top 10. And an easy upgrade target later on if we need to upgrade him. He'll be your last player you upgrade if you need to, or you just keep him as a spare if you've got a lot of cash. So just hold on to Roberts, okay? And going further down, Heaney scored the 78 Supercoach points. He's going to have a price drop. And Bice was a standout, 96 Supercoach points. He went nuts. Okay, now we're very happy with Bice, and we brought him in. Job security, I'm not sure, but after seeing this game, surely the coach keeps him for another game at least, because he looks sensational, especially in that last quarter. Now, going further down, Hanley, he didn't do much. Okay, 38 Supercoach points. Is going to be one of my first trade-out targets soon. Okay, as soon as I find a rookie, he's gone. Okay, so he's not doing much. Probably a mistake picking Hanley, but he can't get them all perfect. Sheldrick, the 14 Supercoach points. It looks like he's an unloved child at Sydney, so they don't love him that much. And is there anyone else here? Have we missed anybody? I think we covered them all. Well, if you like Blakey, he only scored 86. And with the kick-ins at Sydney, who had the kick-ins this week? Let's find out. Well, Blakey only had 3. Considering the Hog had 7 and 10, it dropped to 3. And I saw Roberts about to take a kick-in, and then Blakey ran and got it. So I'm not sure what's going on now with the kick-ins. I think now Roberts has them back, okay? So it could be a good thing. And I noticed that Bice took 2 of them, so I'm loving that Bice is getting an extra 10 points or 8 points from these kick-ins. Now we go to our Scodfather group, and last year we had 6 teams that were ranked number 1 throughout the year. Well, we already started well, okay? We already got Schooners of Bolter, that's Patrick's team, ranked number 1. So congratulations to Patrick, and that's a huge achievement, and not very easy to get number 1 ranking against 200,000 people. So it's a massive. Patrick will be over the moon right now. And Clayton, the Spud Guns. Okay, that's where the Spuds come in, and Clayton's team ranked number 5. It's a big jump for the Spud Guns this week. Had a massive score. And Quinn James's football club. That's Quinn's team. He's hanging in there, okay? He was ranked 15th last week. This week he's ranked 30th, so he's still hanging in the top 30. We got Mehdi's team. That's the Batmen, okay? And they're ranked 53 right now. We got the Slippery Geckos, owned by James, ranked 58. We have No Red Lights, owned by Adam, and he's ranked 75. And that's our top 100. 6 teams. We can actually give a mention to Matthew's team here, the Doobies, okay, and or Dowbies, ranked 102. We now go to our leagues, and first off, we start with the Scodfather Legends, and we see a lot of the teams did decent this week, except for Abs Magic didn't do that well, but every other team did well. Now, Chris's team, Supercoach Insider, had a loss against Peter Pistol from Dr. Supercoach. So Dr. Supercoach took the 4 points. We go now to Geordie's team, had a big win over Januff's team, the reigning champion, Januff. He would be in shock right now, Januff, because still celebrating from last year's... They're still on Mad Monday at Januff's team, but so congrats to George there. We now look at JP, and JP's back, okay? He won Supercoach 3 years ago. Looks like he's back and hungry this year after having a 2-year layoff. Okay, he's back in business, and he beats Dan Batten's team, Batten above average, Dan Batten. Now, we look at Andrew Locke from Locke's Supercoach, and he's got his YouTube channel, and he had a big week defeating centre bouncers Joe, and Joe's coming in now 17th. I think Abs Magic coming last. Look, I'm going to find out soon. We have a look here. We had a close game here. The Mini Monk 1881 defeating JD 1880. I wish I played JD. Me and JD would have got a draw. Okay, it would have been a good matchup with me and JD. But JD scored the 1880, same as me, and the Mini Monk 1881. So congrats to Mini Monk there. We have Damon DJ Trade a Lot at 1929, defeated by Tim Mitchell had a win here, 1976. Tim Mitchell's on the board. Very happy young man Tim is. Now, we got Damo's team here. He also had a 1-point victory over another centre bounce, Big J this time. So, congrats to Damo. And the 2 1-point games are very close finishes here. And now there was a massacre as well. Okay, now Abs Magic 1880 defeated by the Phantom, and the Phantom's coming second. Abs Magic 19th. I can't believe this. Okay, now congrats to the Phantom, a massive victory. Now we have Selby's team here, and he was defeated by Al Payton 1871 to 1837. Now all of us here, we suffered badly. Even the teams over here having players that only scored 7 points. So we all suffered. And then we have Supercoach of DR scoring a 2050. I had a massive victory. Okay, now and Hayden, who last week was over the moon with his big score. Unfortunately, when it came to the league matchup, DR's team had a percentage booster. So let's hope for young Hayden here that he can bounce back. Now this league, all right, as we've got the rankings, we'll go for rankings later on. Actually, we've got the rankings here. This league is now ranked 55. Okay, so last year it was up to number 2. So at the moment it's at 55. So we have to get the rankings up here, and it's probably my fault that it's right down because I'm on the bottom. Okay, so I'm holding the league back from pursuing their dream. So ranked 55. Now let's go into Scodfather Cup 1. And we had a loss here to the Bird Leaves. That's Lucas' team. Now, Scodfather Cup 1 ranked 61. So that's another big ranking there. Okay, they're playing against professionals there. Now, Scodfather Cup 2, my friend here, Engo Rolls Royce, had a victory over me. Okay, even my mate ranked 188 to Scodfather Cup 2. Now, Meow Town, they also beat me, okay, and it's a theme right now. Everyone's beating me this week, and Meow Town, big win, and Scodfather Cup 3 ranked 132. Now we've got a Scodfather Cup 4, and Mitch's Monsters, okay, that's Mitchell's team. He has a team of monsters. I've got a team of Spuds, okay. Yeah, now the Monsters, and this league is ranked 186. These are all good rankings. Now, the Pies had a victory over Abs Magic as well, and this league's ranked 50th, Scodfather Cup 5. Okay, another high-ranking league. Again, it's probably me that's holding them back, but don't worry, I'm going to come back very soon. Now, Scodfather Cup 6, Romans Rangers, that's Roman's team, had a victory, and again, another high-ranking league, 154. Scodfather Cup 7, Adventure Tortoise. That's James's team. Absolutely smashed Abs Magic this week, 2010 to 1880, and this league is ranked 24th. Okay, every league is a professional league right now. We got a Scodfather Cup 8, and it was Abs Magic versus Monkey Magic, and the Monkey Magic did it. Okay, there's more tricks to the bag from the Monkey Magics, and that's Michael's team, and this league is ranked 163rd. We got a Scodfather Cup 9, and again, we copped another shellacking, okay, and this was from Ruck Whisperers, that's Joshua's team. It was 1880 to 1991. This league is probably one of the worst ones we got, and it's still a good ranking of 256. And we got a Scodfather Cup 10 where the Meatheads, they smashed Abs Magic as well. And this league is also ranked in a top 50. So we've got about 5 or 6 leagues ranked in a top 50. So it's all top 60. So it's actually insane. We now go to the magic number. Okay, now the magic number was 1,500 this week. Now, did everyone pass it? Let's have a look. 1,500, well, that's a higher score, which is Jono's score, okay, 2144. He's showing off here, but we're not worried about the high score, we're worried about the lower scores. Did everyone pass 1,500? And unfortunately, David's team hasn't turned up to play, so we're going to cross out the power, okay? The power's gone. We're going to remove the power, okay, he's out. And we're now going to look at George's team, which is coming late, okay? But we're going to keep George's team there because I actually allowed late participants last week. So we'll let George pass this week, okay? So the big chungers scored the 18-18, but we did allow latecomers in. So everyone's passed the magic number. Now, next week, round 2, the magic number is going to change, okay? 1,500 was just a warm-up. This week, it's going to be set at 1,600, okay? So the magic number this week is 1,600, okay? Make sure you get 1,600 or you're going to be eliminated, okay? Just come on down! Anyway, that's all for today's episode. And tomorrow, I'll be doing my trades, my thoughts, and it's going to be a big video because we got some big plans. I'm going to share my plans with you, and you're going to freak out, okay? And there's going to be some players I'm going to pass on. I'm not going to grab them, okay? So, and I want to grab some players that I really want to grab. So, we've got a big episode coming tomorrow. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for joining, and remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.